indecision is like a buffering video. It frustrates everyone. He's a visionary, a reluctant messiah, or I would have to say, false messiah. Please don't quote me on that. Hey there, Zesties! You're tuning in to the Gleeful Talkshow, where we share zesty stories to cultivate the happiness and hero within and out. On the show, we talk about personal experiences and development, society, and culture. So if these are the topics that you're interested in, then please keep on listening. So Zesties, as some of you might know, I am a huge binge watcher and a movie watcher. I like to watch films or binge watch series. And lately, I have had the energy to do them. So on this episode, we are going to explore an area or common theme of the films that I have watched recently, and that is leadership. The films or shows that I have watched recently are Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver, Shogun, and Dune Part 2. So we are going to talk about a common theme of these films, and that is the leaders on those films, not only just the main actors, but the qualities of the leader on those films or shows. So what is a leader? A leader is someone who guides, influences, and inspires others toward a common goal or vision. Leadership can take various forms, but some key attributes often associated with effective leaders include vision. So leaders have a clear vision of what they want to achieve. They can articulate this vision to their team and motivate them to work toward it. Imagine your organization as a majestic ship. Your vision is the North Star, the unwavering guide. Where do you want this ship to sail? A global market share, a sustainable future, or perhaps a world where spreadsheets don't induce migraines? Your vision sets the course. The second quality of a leader would be communication or effective communication. So effective leaders are skilled communicators. They listen actively, express their ideas clearly, and foster open dialogue with their team. Communication isn't just emails and PowerPoint slides. It's the symphony that harmonizes your team. Listen actively. Decode the Morse code of unspoken concerns. Imagine your words as precision tools, fine-tuning strategies, aligning purpose, and inspiring actions. The third attribute I would say is empathy. Leaders understand the emotions and needs of their team members. They show empathy, build trust, and create a positive work environment. Empathy isn't a buzzword. It's the currency of trust. Walk in your team's Oxford or sneakers shoes. Feel their wins and losses. When they say, I need a mental health day, respond like a compassionate GPS rerouting around traffic jams. Another attribute I would say is good decision making. Leaders make informed decisions based on available information. They consider the impact on their team and organization. Decisions like choosing the right tie for a crucial presentation involve your team. They're your co-pilots. Analyze data, but also trust your gut. It's smarter than you think. Remember, indecision is like a buffering video. It frustrates everyone. The next one is adaptability. The ability to adapt to changing circumstances is crucial. Leaders remain flexible and adjust their strategies as needed. Leaders waltz with change. And imagine you are at a networking event and suddenly the dress code shifts from business to casual to Hawaiian shirts. Adaptability is your pocket square. Subtle yet essential. Pivot gracefully. Embrace the aloha spirit. The next one I would say is integrity. Leaders act with honesty, transparency, and ethical behavior. Their actions align with their words. This is a big one because there are a lot of leaders who just, talk and talk but cannot walk the talk, right? So their actions should align with their words. Integrity isn't a checkbox, it's your moral compass. When you promise a seamless merger, deliver it like a Michelin-starred meal. Be transparent and vulnerable, I would say. Even when the truth tastes like kale smoothies. Yes, they're back. And your team's trust is your golden handshake. The next one I'd say is influence. Leaders inspire and motivate others. They lead by example and encourage their team to perform at their best. Influence isn't about PowerPoint karaoke or Jedi mind tricks, although those are fun. It's about inspiring action. Imagine you're a TED speaker. Your words ripple through their minds, sparking innovation. And of course, leadership is not limited to formal positions. Anyone can exhibit leadership qualities, whether in a company, community, or family. Effective leaders positively impact those around them. Now that we've unpacked what a leader is, we're going to talk about some of the leaders that the film that I have watched recently. And this is not going to be a review of those films, zesties, but it's a discussion about some of the characters of those films and their leadership qualities. And I hope that this would inspire you to become your own leader as well. So let's start first with Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. This is currently on Netflix, and for those who do not know, Rebel Moon Part 2 is basically the second part of the saga, where Korra, which is one of our main characters, and the surviving warriors find themselves in a critical situation. They must defend the peaceful village of Velt, which has become their newfound home. And Admiral Noble, determined to capture Korra, sets his sight on Velt, leading to an intense battle. As the tension escalates, Korra's past catches up with her, and she grapples with loyalty, sacrifice, and the fate of the villagers. The stakes are high, and every decision matters. Will Korra and her allies be able to protect Velt from Noble's forces? The film delves deeper into the characters' motivations, relationships, and the complexities of leadership. Prepare for thrilling action, unexpected twists, and a captivating continuation of the Rebel Moon saga. I have to say though that I like the part 1 better than the part 2. It's just I feel like it's too prolonged. I don't know. I don't know about you, but you have to watch it to know what I mean. But we'll not talk about the film itself, Zesties. And again, I wanted to point out one of the leaders of this movie, and that is General Titus. General Titus from Rebel Moon Part 2 embodies several key leadership characteristics that define his role in the resistance against the Mother World. Let's explore these qualities. First, he has strategic brilliance. General Titus is a master tactician. His military mind analyzes situations, anticipates energy moves, and devises effective battle plans. Whether it's organizing defenses for Velt or outmaneuvering the King's Gaze, that is the spaceship, it's called King's Gaze, Titus' strategic brilliance shines through. Another one is resilience and adaptability. Titus has weathered personal tragedies and betrayal. Despite being an outcast, he survives in the brutal arena on Pollux. His ability to adapt to new circumstances strengthens his team members, and he empowers them by his ability to adapt to new circumstances and bounce back from setbacks makes him a resilient leader. Next is team empowerment. Titus recognizes the strength of his team members. He empowers them by leveraging their unique skills. Whether it's Korra's determination, Gunner's loyalty, or Nemesis' combat prowess, Titus ensures everyone contributes effectively. That's one of the things that a leader should have as well. Like, you should know your team's strengths and, let's say, weaknesses, for the lack of a better term, and then leverage those strengths to achieve the goal of the group. Next is complex morality. Titus grapples with guilt and redemption. His past as an Imperium general haunts him. Yet he seeks a chance to make amends. This internal struggle adds depth to his character and motivates his actions. The next one is courage under fire. In battle, Titus remains steadfast. He doesn't shy away from danger or difficult situations. His courage inspires those around him, especially during critical moments when lives hang in the balance. Again, leader is one who leads, right? It's not the one who is at the back, trying to just manipulate everyone. So this one is courage under fire, which is a good trait to have. Another one is trust and loyalty. Titus' loyalty to Korra and the cause is unwavering. He trusts his leadership and stands by her side, even when faced with overwhelming odds. This trust fosters unity within the resistance. The resistance is like the group of people who resist the Imperium. The next one is adaptive leadership. Titus adjusts his leadership style based on the context, whether he's mentoring villagers, strategizing with fellow rebels, or confronting enemies. He adapts to the needs of the moment. So in general, Titus combines strategic acumen, resilience, and a sense of responsibility. His leadership is both pragmatic and compassionate. So, Zesties, what do you think? Do you want to embody those kinds of attributes? I want you to sit on it and reflect. And of course, sometimes you will not have all those attributes at the same time, but you can work on them. And it's really not just leading to be in a position or whatnot. It's more of also leading yourself as well. Be a leader to yourself. The next one I wanted to discuss is Shogun. So, this show is, I don't know, like, okay, this show started very strong, I have to say. And I really want to do a proper review of this show. It's either on this podcast or on the other one, which is the Nerdy Fans podcast. So we will see. Depends on your appetite, Zesties, if you want me to review it here too. But Shogun is, to me, yes, again, started strong, but I was underwhelmed with the ending. Let's just say it that way, all right? So, okay, moving on to the premise. So Shogun is a historical drama TV miniseries, and it's available in Hulu, I think. But I watched it on Disney Plus. It's created by Rachel Kondo and Justin Marks, and it is based on the eponymous 1975 novel by James Clavell. The novel was previously adapted into a 1980 miniseries, and this new version brings the captivating story to life once again. So the premise is it follows the collision of two ambitious men from different worlds, which is John Blackthorne, a risk-taking English sailor who ends up shipwrecked in Japan. The unfamiliar Japanese culture will ultimately redefine him. He is our swashbuckling hero, and he washes ashore like a Shakespearean plot twist. He is English, Protestant, and harboring secrets thicker than samurai armor. Personally, I do not like the casting of this actor. At first, I thought that I can just get used to it, but nah, I couldn't. So moving on. So again, I mentioned that it is a collision of two ambitious men. The second ambitious man is Lord Yoshi Toranaga. He is a daimyo with more political moves than a game of Go. His kimono hides ambition, and his gaze sharper than a katana's edge. Toranaga's chessboard, feudal Japan. His pieces, cunning vassals, treacherous rivals, and a tea ceremony that could decide empires. He's the puppet master pulling strings, but beware. The strings might just strangle him. So those are the two main characters. There are also villains on the show, which are quite effective as well. So I really encourage you, Zesties, to watch the show. And then we have Lady Mariko, a woman with invaluable skills but dishonorable family ties, who must prove her value and allegiance. Mariko dances between honor and dishonor, her loyalty tested like a bamboo bowstring. Will she be the whisper in Toranaga's ear or the blade at his throat? So there is a historical context on the novel, and of course how the series bases on. So the character of John Blackthorne is loosely based on the historical English navigator William Adams. Adams rose to become a samurai under Tokugawa Ieyasu, who later became the founder and first shogun of Tokugawa's shogunate. And Yoshi Toranaga is based on Tokugawa Ieyasu himself, a powerful daimyo and one of the 5 regents ruling Japan on behalf of the late Taiko's young heir. Now, the main leader I wanted to talk about on this show is, of course, Lord Yoshi Toranaga, who is based on Tokugawa. For those who are not familiar, Tokugawa Ieyasu was a Japanese military leader who played a pivotal role in reunifying Japan during the late 16th and early 17th centuries. He is one of the great unifiers of Japan alongside Nobunaga and Toyotomi Hideyoshi. His leadership left a lasting impact on Japanese history, shaping the Edo period and the samurai culture. So now, let's delve into the leadership qualities of Yoshi Toranaga, a central character in the Shogun saga. Although inspired by historical figures, Toranaga's fictional portrayal adds depth and intrigue to his leadership. First, he has, of course, strategic brilliance. Toranaga is a brilliant strategist akin to a grandmaster playing a high-stakes game of Go. His mind calculates moves, anticipates rival plots, and positions himself for ultimate power. His ability to see beyond the immediate battlefield sets him apart. Toranaga doesn't merely react, he shapes the board, and that is why I'm so amazed with his tactical prowess. And he also has a long-term vision, so unlike the impulsive warlords, Toranaga plays the long game. He understands that true power lies in patience and calculated alliances. His vision extends beyond battles into the very fabric of Japan's culture. Toranaga seeks to unify a fractured land under his shogunate. And of course, if you've seen the show, you can really see his sense of adaptability. He thrives in chaos. Whether navigating court intrigues or leading armies, he adjusts his approach. Like a seasoned samurai, he knows when to strike and when to bide his time. His ability allows him to survive in a treacherous landscape where loyalty shifts like autumn leaves. And yes, of course, he is a master of politics and honor. He balances political maneuvering with unwavering honor. He respects tradition, yet bends it to his advantage. And that's why he gets the trust of his people, right? Because he has unwavering honor and he walks the talk. His decisions are guided by a code, a blend of Bushido and pragmatism. Toranaga's honor isn't rigid, it's a katana forged in fire. And of course, charisma and influence. And again, that's why he can make people stay loyal to him. Even one of the characters who are like kind of like 50-50 tried to betray him, but still that character still look up to him actually. So Toranaga commands respect. His presence fills rooms and his words carry weight. Whether rallying samurai or negotiating treaties, he exudes authority. Toranaga's charisma binds allies and intimidates foes. And of course, he has the resilience and perseverance. With the man who plays a long game, of course he is. He endures setbacks, the storms of betrayal, the quagmire of court politics, yet he rises like a phoenix. So Yoshi Toranaga embodies the paradox of leadership, a master tactician who wields honor as deftly as a blade. His journey through feudal Japan is a captivating lesson in strategy, ambition, and the art of ruling. And yes, Zesties, this actor really embodied the essence of Yoshi Toranaga, and kudos to Hiroyuki Sanada. He really brilliantly portrayed the character. It is as if you are watching the real Ieyasu Tokugawa. But I think he also played on some other movies or shows in Japan as Tokugawa Ieyasu. But yes, again, very brilliant actor. He really embodied it. And again, Zesties, I really want to talk about this show. I might talk about it on another episode here on the Gleeful Talk Show or on the Nerdy Fans podcast, so please watch out for it soon. And yes, Zesties, the qualities that he exudes is really something that a leader should embody even in the modern times. However, how he executed in the olden times might be different on how you execute it on the modern time, just because of how the culture and, times change as well. I do not want to spoil you too much about the show, so I could talk about more on that later on another episode, but if I have to say it plainly, basically his leadership or how he executed and manipulated everyone might not be seen as honorable type of leader now. Let's just say it that way. So, but again, kudos, what a great leader. And Zesties, we move on to Dune Part 2. So Dune Part 2 picks up where the first movie left off, depicting the events from the second half of the original novel. Paul Atreides begins to fall in love with Chani as he adapts to Fremen culture, and together they fight back against the Harkonnens. Meanwhile, Gosu Roban struggles to keep up, and Baron Harkonnen turns to his other nephew, Feyd-Rautha, to take over. The film explores Paul's mythic journey as he unites with the Fremen on a warpath of revenge against those who destroyed his family. Facing a choice between love and the fate of the universe, he endeavors to prevent a terrible future only he can foresee. Now let's explore Paul's leadership qualities. So Paul embodies both the promise and peril of leadership. The characteristics that make him simultaneously a good and a challenging leader are first his strategic brilliance. Paul's mind operates like a mentat computer. He analyzes situations, anticipates outcomes, and devises intricate plans. His ability to see beyond the immediate battlefield makes him an exceptional strategist. And again, maybe because of his skill to kind of foresee possible futures, that could be the case here as well. But what you do with that information is the one that sets you apart, right? And another one is his ability. He thrives in diverse environments, whether navigating treacherous politics or leading Fremen warriors. He adjusts his approach. His adaptability allows him to survive and thrive. And of course, the charisma and influence. Paul commands respect. He fills rooms, and there was even a scene there that he just says the word and everyone was silent. So again, I don't want to spoil you too much, but yes, his words carry weight. And again, with his Bene Gesserit training, I guess that helped as well, right? So he was rallying Fremen, then negotiating alliances. He exudes authority. However, he is also burdened by the perils of leadership, like the burden of prophecy. Paul's destiny as the Kwisatz Haderach weighs heavily on him. His knowledge of future events, both glorious and tragic, creates internal conflict. The burden of prophecy can paralyze decision-making. And I feel that because of these prophecies, he tends to do this self-fulfilling prophecy where an individual's belief or expectation about a future event influences their behavior in a way that confirms or fulfills that initial belief or expectation. Essentially, our thoughts and expectations can shape our actions and outcomes, sometimes without us even realizing it. This self-fulfilling prophecy is sometimes good for us and sometimes bad for us as well. And it could be bad for the Fremen, so we will see in Dune Part 3. The next one is he has torn allegiances. Paul feels torn between loyalty to the House of Atreides, the Bene Gesserit, and the Fremen. His role in intergalactic politics complicates matters. Balancing these allegiances strains his leadership. Next is unintended consequences. Despite his best intentions, Paul's rise to power triggers a bloody jihad across the universe. His visions of suffering haunt him. The consequences of his actions are far-reaching. So Paul Atreides is a multifaceted leader. He's a visionary, a reluctant messiah, or I would have to say false messiah. Please don't quote me on that. And a man grappling with immense power. His journey reveals that even the best leaders face moral dilemmas and unforeseen consequences. So there you have it, Zesties. 3 different type of leaders in 3 different type of environment, universes, and timeline. But one thing for sure is we can learn from them. And of course, leadership is not only just when you are in a position, but also for yourself as well. Be a leader to yourself. So I hope, Zesties, that this inspire you to be a better leader yourself or to take action on some of the leadership qualities that you want to acquire in the future, and for you to be inspired on which kind of leader you want to follow. Again, the choice of a follower is as good as the choice of a leader as well. So whoever you would want to follow as a leader, you have to also think whether that leader is good for you or the people around you or for your future, etc., because that matters as well. So Zesties, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. And if you like this episode, please do share it with your friends and on your social media. That's gonna help the podcast a lot. You can also rate us on the podcasting platform that you're listening in. And if you'd like to support me with a hot or cold beverage, please head down to the episode notes where you can find a donation link. And thank you so much for the Zesties who have been providing me refreshments all this time. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And Zesties, if you would like to suggest an episode, please feel free to email gleefultalkshow@gmail.com or DM us on our social media platforms. That'll be great as well. So Zesties, I'll see you next time.